So, you know, after this, then I'm going to go back to the storyline, but I need this time to go over the skills. Stone Strike, you know, you can use... I definitely wouldn't recommend it if you're a lion because your gun is going to be just fine. But if you're a fox and you're using throwing items, Stone Strike can... It can, you know, you won't have to spend as much money on throwing items, but as a fox, you really shouldn't have that much of your build dumped into attack power. You should be more like defense and sense type, because your throwing items are based on your DA. Sixth Sense, it raises your DA based on your base DA by a certain percent, so like that can be helpful if you're using throwing items. Also, if you have a second anniversary skill on an old character, if you got that back then, or if you ever see one or get one some way, that raises your DA. Gun carrier, you need that to use a gun, so I'd only recommend it for the lion. Heavy carrier, it just raises your base weight, but sense types already have the highest weight and they never really have a problem with that, so I wouldn't waste time on that. Shuriken Master is what you need to use throwing items, so only buy that if you're a fox. The higher level it is, just the more damage your throwing items do, so, you know, put some TM points into that. Sticky Foot, it lowers the enemy's evasion. Really, that's not going to help you too much, because evasion really isn't that useful in enemies. Invincible Reload, if you're a lion, it will make it so that your reload and gauge isn't interrupted if you're hit. So it's like invincible casting for the mages, it's just applies to guns. Gun Booster, you use it and it's like pumping hard or something for guns, except it only raises yours, not your party's. But so, you know, you can get that if you want to raise your attack power. I wouldn't actually, I think that's helpful actually. Basic Detection is a must-have. When you first learn it, keep it at level 1. For digging, it helps with digging because it tells you exactly where to drill for items, so that can save you a truckload of time if you're drilling. See here it says detection depth. The further you get into the game, the deeper items are buried, so if you get to an area and you use this and nothing pops up, you're going to want to level it up, but when you first learn it, you shouldn't have to worry about the depth, because it's only like in the 20s and 30s when you first learn it in those areas. So, but it's a must-have, trust me. Armor Destructor, it lowers their defense power. I wouldn't quite learn it because you need to have Stone Strike at level 10, and you know, I don't really think it's worth dumping all the TM points into. Quick Reload, it lets you reload while you're moving because normally your gauge won't fill up unless you're standing still, so you know, it uses a lot of TM points, but if you can manage to save enough up, I guess I'd learn it. Lucky 7, it raises your luck. So if you're making a character as a compounder, and especially if you're a pure luck fox, because it raises it based on a percentage of your luck. The higher your luck is, the better results you'll get from compounding and refining, which I'll go over later, but they basically add power to your items and you'll have better results the higher your luck is. So I recommend that if you're a fox, or if you're just pure luck. Anger Management, this is a new skill. I'm not really sure what it does. Oh, Crazy Drilling skill. That's something, I think that's an item you have to buy actually. But I wouldn't really, I don't know where to get Crazy Drilling because that's new. I've never seen that before. You can't buy Crazy Drilling here, so I think Crazy Drilling was something that you had to pay real money for, so I wouldn't really recommend getting Anger Management. Compound Master, it raises, you know, your chance of getting, you know, good compound results. So you can learn that if you want. Now now for charm type skills. First, you have Power Blow. I would really only recommend learning that up to level 5, just so you can deal out a little bit extra damage when you're in your first job. But, you know, not above level 5. Dodge Master is good, because for the second job, your skills are based off of your HV too, especially for the raccoon. So, I'd recommend learning Dodge Master. Magic Meltdown, it lowers their magic power. Enemies really don't use magic attacks until much later in the game, so I really wouldn't recommend using that now, because later in the game you'll have so much HP and defense as a charm type that really won't matter. Mana Reflector can actually be helpful, because if they use a magic based attack on you, it reflects damage back to them. So that can be helpful, especially if you're going to player versus player. Magic Defense Breaker, I have no idea why the hell you would use that as a charm type. That's only useful if you're in parties, and if you're in a party with a mage, because it lowers their magic defense. Only mages can use magic based attacks. So I don't know why the hell you would learn that. Shield All, it raises your whole party's defense, but it uses more TM points, and it doesn't raise it by as much defense as Sturdy Shield, which only raises your individual defense. So I would recommend Sturdy Shield over Shield All, because Sturdy Shield has more defense, even though it's only you, but it's also going to use less TM points, so I would just recommend Sturdy Shield. Skunk Pouch can be very, very, very helpful for glitch fighting a certain boss, insanely hard boss later, so no, I wouldn't learn it just yet, but what it does is it stuns the enemy for a certain amount of time, and then when you level it up, it lasts longer. But, I think you need to have it level 4 or 5 at least to stun the boss for long enough to glitch him, so I would learn that if I was you. And then Titanium Wrist, it just makes your Power Blow skill stronger, which is this first skill. But still, I recommend only learn that up to level 5, and then don't learn Titanium Wrist, because that's an attack power based skill, and as I said earlier, sense types are going to be based more on sense type, or charm types are going to be based more on charm type stats. Physical training adds to your HP, so if you have some extra skill points, I guess you could, learn that if you wanted, but if you're going pure HP, I wouldn't really waste TM points on that, because you have enough HP already. Then Final Blow, it's just, it does damage. It's based on, you have to have Sturdy Shield to learn it. I wouldn't recommend it, because it's still attack power based, as you can see here. So I wouldn't really recommend that. I skipped one up here, Galder Thrower. You can learn this to deal a lot higher damage than normal to that certain boss I was talking about later in the game, but it makes you lose Galders each time you use the skill. So, if you're gonna buy Skunk Pouch, I really wouldn't recommend doing this, because even though you can deal way more than normal damage to that boss, because for some reason this doesn't apply to his defense, I guess, but it's not going to be too strong against regular enemies, because it'll just deal about the same damage as your other skills. I really wouldn't recommend learning it, because it can leave you on a money shortage, especially after you fight that certain boss. So really, I wouldn't recommend that. But that's all for this episode. Last time I meant to show you my equipment setup, so I'm just going to show you here. First, these are my stats, so I'm just going to show you that. Level 15, TM level 12, and then these are the equips I have on. So I don't really have anything compounded yet, which I'll get into in a later episode. Yeah, I don't have anything compounded yet, but I'll get into compounding probably in one of the next couple episodes. So I'll explain more what that is, but don't worry about it too much right now at a low level. For now, you just really just want to have a gut. If you're a power or charm type, you just want to have a sword and a shield and a hat and 2 accessories, whatever they are. If you're lion, you just want to have a gun, bullets, hat, and accessories. For mage, you're going to want to have a staff, a shield, hat, and accessories. And for everyone, you're going to want to have a pet, an innerwear, and the mask that they give you. So, the one thing I forget to mention is, I don't remember if I mentioned it or not, but the duck staff will double as a staff and a sword, so you can use that. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time, and I'm probably going to have a guest star like I said before.